I secured the largest lottery prize in state history, $384 million, but shared with nobody. I contacted my family faking financial distress, only to discover who truly cared. My mother disconnected on me. My brother declared me a failure. Yet my younger sister journeyed 200 miles with her remaining $500. What followed then transformed everything. Okay, gather round, because I need to tell you a story, and trust me, it's one that's been burning inside me. Have you ever felt like the person everyone takes for granted? The one who always picks up the pieces, until one day, you realize you're not just picking them up, you're bleeding for them? What if it took winning millions, winning the lottery, to finally expose the truth about who really cared? So, picture this. I'm Mark. I'm 32, the oldest of three, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the family's invisible cushion. You know the type. The one who catches everything, but no one ever catches them. My job? I'm a sales manager for luxury toilets. Yeah, toilets. And listen, I can talk flush rates, rimless bowls, bidet attachments like it's poetry. I spend my weekdays in a bright showroom, chrome everywhere, convincing people a quiet closed seat is worth that extra $100. And I'm good at it. I keep my lists. I hit my targets. I even stack the chairs after events. My brother, Dylan, he's 29. He's the golden child. He's always working on a startup that mostly lives on our parents' couch, posting motivational quotes over photos of rented sports cars. Mom, she shares them with these so proud captions. Dad just nods like the sun is doing its job. My sister, Jess, she's 24. Soft-spoken, quiet. She works 2 part-time jobs and still texts me home safe when it snows. She wasn't born golden. She learned to be helpful. The trigger, though? It didn't come with fireworks. It came with roast beef and paper napkins. Sunday dinner. Dylan was spinning some wild story about meeting an investor at a bar. Mom was refilling his plate like he was in training for the Olympics. I actually mentioned, super casually, that I just got Employee of the Quarter. Plaque on my desk. Small bonus. Mom just smiled at her glass. That's nice, honey. Dylan tapped his fork on the table. Sales, huh? Easy stuff. Just talk pretty. Dad cleared his throat. Your brother's under pressure. Investors take time. I reached for the salt. Mom beat me to it. By the way, she said, casual as talking about the weather. Dylan's credit card got weird charges. We're helping him sort it out, but rent is due. Then, the line that always makes my stomach clench. Family helps family. Everyone just looked at me. The background character. The cushion. I swallowed. How much? Just a little bridge, Mom said, her eyes doing that thing. You always land on your feet. Jess, God bless her, just stared at her plate. But I caught the tiniest shake of her head. Like, let it go, Mark. And I did. I chewed. I smiled. I stacked the plates after. Later, alone in my car, I turned on the radio to drown out my thoughts. That's when I saw a notification glow on my lock screen. One number. Too many zeros. My hands went still on the wheel. The showroom, the toilets, the plates I'd just stacked, all of it shifted. Like the room had quietly tilted, and only I noticed. I didn't text anyone. I didn't drive back. I just sat there, engine off, radio hissing. And I realized, I wasn't the cushion anymore. I was something else. And I needed to know who cared when I had nothing at all. This whole thing started 2 nights earlier. After a long day of demonstrating soft-closed lids to a couple arguing about grout, I stopped at a gas station. The clerk had a stack of lottery slips by the register. Big rollover, he said, bored. I don't buy tickets. I sell toilets, not dreams. But I had 3 crumpled singles and a brain that just wanted something dumb. Quick pick, I said. I tucked the ticket into the back of my wallet, behind a laminated sheet of part numbers and finish codes. Saturday night, I was in bed, scrolling past videos of people unboxing kitchen faucets when the results posted. I read them once. Twice. I got up, turned on the light, put the ticket down on the counter, compared the numbers again. $384 million. Biggest in state history. One winner. My throat went dry. I did the math. Everyone does. Lump sum, federal state fees. The numbers shrank and still didn't fit in my head. I opened my cabinets and laughed at my cheap pasta. I sat on the floor, back against the dishwasher, and just waited for a voice to say, just kidding. Nothing. Morning came like nothing had happened. I still had to be at the showroom by 9 o'clock. I still had training on a new line of rimless bowls with antimicrobial glaze. I still had a mom who would ask if I could help Dylan with a tiny thing. That afternoon, an elderly couple came in asking about ADA heights. I showed them the comfort height models, the elongated seats, the dual flush buttons. I felt weirdly proud of all of it. People don't think about toilets until they have to. Then they need someone calm who knows the difference between 1.28 GPF and 0.8 on eco. I'm that guy. I guide. I don't push. And, honestly, I also don't say no. Not at work. Not at home. I kept thinking about a list I once made of all the money I'd given Dylan since college. $200 until Friday. $900 for gear. He returned the next day in a different color because he'd sold the original. $3,100 for a bridge that became a bridge to another bridge. He paid back $80 once, then told everyone he'd covered my rent. Mom repeated it at Thanksgiving like a fun fact. With Jess, it was different. She never asked for cash without a receipt. My car battery died, she'd say, eyes down, offering a screenshot of the invoice before I even answered. I'll pay you back in 3 parts. Sometimes, she'd tuck an extra $5 into my pocket with a note. Coffee. Our parents didn't see the difference, or they pretended not to, because seeing it meant doing something. That night after the numbers, I didn't sleep. I fell into a rabbit hole of articles about lottery winners who became ghosts, saints, or headlines. I read about trusts, lawyers, accountants. I read about how, in our state, you could stay anonymous if you used the right structures. I wrote down terms like blind trust, revocable, tax efficient. I made an appointment under a boring alias. The name on the ticket was mine, but the person who claimed it didn't have to be. Then Sunday dinner happened again. The Golden Child story played. The cushion performed. The trigger landed. Family helps family. I drove home and stood in my kitchen staring at a post-it where I'd written in tiny letters, "You're not a bad son for having boundaries." Jess gave it to me last winter after I told her I felt guilty for wanting peace. I decided I needed proof. Not of who loved me. Love is cheap in words and expensive in actions, but of who would pick up when it cost them something. The plan formed with the same bland practicality I used to schedule toilet deliveries. It felt cold. It also felt like the only way to cut through the noise. I wasn't out to humiliate anyone. I just wanted to stop arguing with a feeling and get an answer. First, I had to lock down the basics. Monday morning, I called a lawyer from behind a stack of brochures. We met in a small office with 2 bright lights and a fern that needed water. She listened, then said, "Anonymity is doable here. We'll build a trust to claim. We'll build a second trust for giving. We'll put it all through a process, not people. But the hardest part won't be the paperwork." "What's the hardest part?" I asked. "Saying no and wearing it," she said. "People will call you selfish. They will say you owe them your life. Decide now what you believe." I believed I was tired of paying admission to be in my own family. That evening, Mom sent a long text about how Dylan had so much potential, but needs a soft place to land. She wrote, "I'm putting you down for $1,500. We'll square it later." No question mark. I didn't respond. I watched my phone buzz on the table like a trapped fly. Tuesday, I bought a cheap flip phone with cash and a prepaid card. I typed a short script and notes on my regular phone, so I wouldn't improvise. I would call each of them from the flip phone. I would say the same thing. I would ask for the same small thing. Not a wire, not a plan, just $60 to get through 2 days. A number small enough to be about care, not investment. If they said yes, I'd accept, and then I'd return it with interest and an apology. If they said no, I'd accept that, too. No scenes, no lectures, just data. Wednesday night after closing, I sat on a plastic chair in the warehouse next to pallets of boxed toilets labeled fragile. It made me laugh. Everything was fragile. I breathed in the clean cardboard smell, opened the flip phone, and scrolled to a new contact. I started with Mom, then Dylan, then Jess. I watched the second hand on my watch jump from line to line like a metronome. I promised myself I wouldn't change the question mid-call to make it easier on them. I promised myself I'd listen. Call 1, Mom. "Hello." She sounded hurried and annoyed, like I'd interrupted her schedule. "Mom, it's me. Sorry for the number, my phone died." I swallowed. "I'm in a bind. I need a small favor. Just $60 to get through to Friday." Silence. Then a sharp exhale. "Mark, if you'd budget like Dylan used to." "Mom, I haven't eaten today. I'll pay you back Friday." "You're being dramatic." Her voice went cool. "I'm on my way to get my nails done. I can't enable bad habits. Call your brother. He's always had a head for money." "Please," I said, hating how it sounded. "You're 32, she said. "Take responsibility." Click. I stared at the gray cinder block wall until the dial tone faded. "Call 2, Dylan." He answered on speaker. Music thumped. "Brew." "Dylan. It's me. Quick one. I need $60 for 2 days. I'll give you $80 back Friday." He laughed like I'd told a joke. "You, Mr. Toilets?" "Dude, hustle. Do a side gig. Sell some seat warmers." "I'm asking you." "Bad vibes," he said. "Besides, I'm leveraged right now. Everything's tied up in a deal. Also, wouldn't want to create dependency, you know. People got to stand on their own, too." His voice dropped. "You always look down on me for asking." Tables turn. "I didn't look down on you," I said. "I fed you." "Grammar police," he said. "Loser." Click. The word landed in the same place it always did. 17. Cafeteria. Borrow me your lunch money. And me nodding, because saying no felt like a fire alarm. Call 3, Jess. She picked up on the second ring. Hey, are you okay? Where are you? This isn't your number. Her voice was pure worry. Just like that, all my carefully built walls started to crumble. I'm okay. I mean, no. I'm at a motel near the interstate. Long story. I need $60 until Friday. I'll pay you back the second it hits. If you can't, I get it. I have $520 in my account, she said, like reading a checklist. I'll bring cash. Text me the address. Jess, it's 200 miles. I'm leaving now, she said. Eat something if you can. Drink water. Keep the door locked. I'll stop for gas and be there by midnight. You don't have to. I know, she said. I want to. The line went quiet. I put the phone down and let my head hit the wall. The warehouse hum filled the space like a soft anthem. 3.5 hours later, 3 knocks on a cheap motel door. Our old code. I opened it to Jess with wind-tangled hair, red eyes, hoodie pulled tight. She pressed an envelope into my palm. There's $500. I'll be okay. I brought granola bars. You're eating one now. I sank onto the bed beside her and told her the truth, not the number. I'm not broke, I said. I asked to see who would show up. Mom hung up. Dylan laughed. You drove. She sank onto the bed beside me. I figured, she said. I'm not surprised. I'm just sad. I'm sorry I tested you. She shook her head. You didn't test me. You gave me a chance to be who I say I am. We sat in silence, the air conditioner rattling, a train far off. My chest stopped burning. This isn't about revenge, I said, finally. This is about closure. What does closure look like? She asked. Cash back tomorrow, I said. Then lawyers. Then rules. Rules like what? Like we stopped paying to be loved? I said. Like no means no. Not convince me. At 9 a.m., we met at the bank. I returned her $500, plus gas, plus extra for a proper breakfast. She tried to push it back. I closed her fingers over the envelope. Non-refundable, I said. She cried in that tiny, quiet way people cry when they're more used to swallowing it. At 11:30, we sat in my lawyer's office again. I told Jess what we were building. A trust to claim the prize, a firewall between me and the circus, a second fund for scholarships and emergencies. Real ones, with clear criteria, so decisions weren't about who shouted loudest. The lawyer ran through the plan. Anonymity is possible here, she said. All requests go through my office. You will not be reachable by people who refuse process. Jess raised her hand like we were back in school. Can we make a scholarship for kids who work and study and get told it's not enough? Yes, I said. We'll make it boring and strong. We kept it simple. No dramatic purchases, no headlines. The trust claimed. A benign statement went to the press from an anonymous local. In our town, rumors grew legs. That's fine. Legs can run in circles. The call started anyway. Day 1. 10 missed calls from Mom. 4 from Dylan. 1 from Dad. I let them ring. Mom's voicemail. I heard something. You didn't tell me because you're spiteful. Come over now. Dylan's text. Bro, front me. 5K. Quick flip. Day 2. 23 missed calls. Mom, this family runs on trust. Dylan, you owe me for believing in you when no one else did. Dad, call your mother. Jess forwarded me 3 texts from Mom. Are you with him? He's being dramatic. Don't enable. Jess didn't answer. We went to a hardware store and bought her a new deadbolt. Day 3. Mom switched to guilt. My blood pressure is through the roof. Dylan switched to rage. Snake. Dad sent a longer one. Son, money is complicated. Let us manage. We've always managed things. I sent 1 text from a new number to the family chat. I'm fine. Don't come to my apartment. Don't contact Jess about me. All money requests must go through Attorney K. That's the rule. If you want to talk, it won't be about money. Mom replied in under a minute. You're ungrateful. We gave you everything. I typed, deleted, typed, deleted. I put the phone down. A week passed. The showroom felt different, lighter. I still smiled at people who made jokes like royal flush, huh? I still explained trap ways with patience. But between customers, I made lists about my own life. Sleep more. Say no. Learn to cook something not from a box. Jess and I met on Sundays. Coffee, groceries. We built a budget where she wasn't punished for being alive. Dental, new tires before they explode. A line called Joy, with $50 for flowers or a book or a ticket to something dumb and happy. I placed a protected fund in her name with a financial advisor whose favorite word is no. Guardrails everywhere. Not because I don't trust Jess, but because I trust the world to take advantage. Meanwhile, the family machine spun. Aunt texts. Your mom is heartbroken. Cousin DMs. Dylan says you iced him out. A neighbor. Is it true? I said the same thing to everyone. I'm okay. I'm offline for a bit. 2 weeks in, Mom showed up at my building with a casserole, like we were in a sitcom where carbs cure boundaries. The doorman called me. I went down. She stood in the lobby like a statue. "Mark," she said, thrusting the dish at me, smiling a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Let's stop this silliness." "Mom," I said. "You hung up on me when I asked for $60. I knew it was a stunt," she said. "You were trying to manipulate me." I said I hadn't eaten. "You told me to take responsibility." "You're 32, she repeated. "And this lottery nonsense. You think money replaces family." "I think family shouldn't be transactional," I said. "I think saying no shouldn't be treated like a crime." She sniffed. "Your brother needs a new start. A small investment. $50,000. It's nothing to you. It's everything to me if it keeps the old story running," I said. "New rule. I don't fund Dylan's ideas or clean up his fires. If he wants help, I'll pay for a therapist and a financial counselor, not a lifestyle." "You're cruel," she said, voice shaking. "No," I said. "I'm done being useful at the expense of being a person." She left the casserole. I gave it to the doorman. He shrugged and said, "It's okay, but salty." That night, Dylan called from a blocked number. I answered. "Congrats, big man," he said. "Everyone knows. Time to share the wealth." "I'm not discussing money with you," I said. "If you want to talk about life, we can try." "Spare me," he snapped. "After everything I did for you. You borrowed $12,940 from me over 9 years," I said. "You paid back $140. He snorted. "You kept a spreadsheet." "Psycho." "I did," I said. "New rule. I'm not a lender." "So this is revenge," he said. "This isn't about revenge," I said, steady. "This is about closure." "You're dead to me," he said. Then 2 seconds later, texted, "Okay, but serious. $20K right now, and I'll never ask again." I blocked the number. Days got quiet and good. I learned to make eggs that didn't taste like sadness. I started running in the mornings before the showroom opened. I slept. I answered emails from the scholarship admin we hired. We set criteria that made sense. Proof of work hours, community college preference, short essays that were about real life, not fancy words. We launched softly. Applications flooded in, stories that sounded like Jess, stories that sounded like me. We send yes. I imagine them buying a textbook without bargaining with their own needs. A month in, Dad texted, "Coffee." He picked a diner with big windows and bad art. He looked smaller than I remembered. He wrapped both hands around the mug like it would steady him. "I should have said more," he said. "When you were kids." "Yeah," I said. "It wasn't a whip. It was a fact." "I let your mother set the weather," he said. "I thought I was keeping the peace." "I was just keeping you quiet." I nodded. "I don't want to fight," I said. "I want a different pattern." He nodded back. "I'm sorry," he said. They were small words. They mattered. He didn't ask for money. I didn't offer. We ate pancakes and talked about a baseball game like normal people. Mom didn't soften. She escalated. She sent photos of us as kids with captions like, "Remember?" I remembered. I also remembered counting out cash to keep Dylan from being evicted while Mom said, "He was so mature." At the 6-week mark, a letter arrived at the lawyer's office from Dylan titled Proposal. It was written like a pitch deck with charts pulled off the internet. It asked for $250,000 for a luxury lifestyle brand. Under team, he'd listed Mom, operations, Dad, logistics. Under advisor, he put my name. The last slide said, "We are family." The lawyer called it impressive in its boldness. I called Jess. We laughed until we cried, then just cried. I wrote one last email through the lawyer. Simple. I am not participating. Do not contact Jess about me. If you want a relationship, it will be built on conversations that are not about money. Otherwise, we are done. The lawyer sent it. I turned my phone face down and went for a run. The air felt clean. Closure isn't fireworks. It's a quiet you notice one Tuesday when the coffee tastes like coffee and not dread. I don't have a dramatic reveal story. I didn't show up to a family party with a camera crew and a giant check. There was no speech, no applause. Just smaller, truer things. Sunday mornings, Jess and I walk by the river with takeout cups. We argue about whether ducks or geese are funnier. She laughs from her stomach now. She doesn't apologize for taking the last muffin. Her car starts without a prayer. She has a dentist appointment on the calendar she won't cancel. At work, I still sell toilets. I still like it. People still make jokes. I still smile. I've learned that dignity lives in knowing your craft. Even if your craft is porcelain. I help an older man choose a seat that won't hurt his knees and think, this is actually good. Money didn't make my job smaller. It made the rest of my life less loud, so I can hear myself when I'm doing it. Mom and I are complicated. She sends photos sometimes. I don't reply to the ones with captions like, family first. I do reply to the one where Jess is 6 in a sunflower dress. She's still that kind, I write. Mom writes back. You've changed. I think yes. Finally, Dylan cycles between silence and new numbers. I don't pick up. The trust pays for a therapist if he ever calls the right person. I hope he does. I'm not the net anymore. Dad texts me baseball scores and low-stakes questions. We meet for pancakes once a month. He tries. I meet him there. Our conversations are small and clean. That feels right. The scholarship fund emails me names I don't share with anyone. I read essays late at night about kids closing at the grocery store and opening laptops at 2 a.m. I recognize the grit. We send yes. I keep one sentence taped to my fridge. I will not pay to be loved. Under it, in Jess's handwriting, I will give where it heals. That's my system now. That's my budget. If you're the cushion in your family, I don't have a magic trick. I have a boring one. Write the rules you wish someone had given you. Follow them, even when people call you cold. Count actions, not speeches. Watch who drives 200 miles with their last $500 and who hangs up over $60. My name is Mark. I sell expensive toilets and sleep through the night. I won a lottery once and learned the real jackpot wasn't money. It was finally saying no and not apologizing. And dinner still happens. Sometimes it's just me and Jess at a diner with bad art, splitting pie. We pay for our own plates. We leave a good tip. We walk out into the kind of quiet you can live. So, tell me, if you were in my shoes, what boundaries would you have drawn? What would your rules be? I'd really love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.